draw me nearer. I am very studious pertaining to the Old Testament scriptures, the Old Testament laws, the Old Testament prophets. But one thing I find that is so debatable is that how is it that one man can allow the enemy to come in and to isolate him from God. I'm speaking of that first Adam, that God would literally come in and walk with him, and they would commune and they would fellowship, all that he was so close to God that God visited him so frequently. And then in another instance, he is isolated, and not only is he isolated, but he is then sentenced to die. And in his death, the body that God made out of the dust would go back into the earth. The spirit that God blew into his nostrils would go back to God. But some writers and some theologians and some philosophers says that, but the spirit would end up in a place called purgatory. And purgatory is a place that is like a holding place until the day of judgment. I don't believe that the spirit goes to purgatory. I believe that if a man can get close enough to God, that his spirit goes back to his creator based on the fact that of what he believes, where his faith is, and how he walks out this life trying to fulfill the mission and the purpose of the God that created him. I don't believe that there is any place called purgatory. I say that with great conviction because when you read the book of the Gospel of Revelation, when you read what John says, he says that after we leave here, we immediately goes to the Father. For it says, when I'm absent from the body, I am present with the Lord. That doesn't mean everybody. That means those that kept the faith. That means those that went upside on the rough side of the mountain. That those that bear their burdens in the heat of the day. I believe that as soon as they close their eye, take their last breath, that when they're absent here, if you call their name on the celestial shore, that I believe that they will answer. So I come to tell those philosophers, you can end up in purgatory if you want to, but for the believers of Christ, that when we leave this place, that you're going to end up in one or two places. Yeah. Based on your faith, based on your belief. It's not about what you do or what position we hold, but it's all about who you trust in while you were living on this side. What drew you? What is it that held you? What motivated you? What is it that was about your life that caused you to lift your hand when all hell break loose? For you to jump and to shout when you ain't got nothing to jump and to shout about. Because what we jump and shout about is not what God does and not how God blesses us, but what we jump and we shout about is that we have an eternal home when we leave this place. That's the blessed hope. Seriously, that's the blessed hope. But you can't get home if Jesus ain't become your Savior. You can't get back to God, your Creator, if He's not the one and the author and the finisher of your faith. Can I tell you something? You don't have a bridge over troubled water without Jesus. Can I bless you? The preachers can't preach enough. The choir can't sing enough. The ushers can't serve enough. We can't have enough big hats in the corner from the mother in order to get back to you. You got to have Jesus as the bridge over troubled water in order to get back to God. And the sad part of it is, when you read the Old Testament, you'll find that many of them thought that their sacrifices was enough to satisfy God. Wow. Can I tell you something? God ain't impressed with our sacrifices. He's not impressed with how much money we give. Y'all still miss that? Because of the only purpose, the reason that we give is because we do love him. The only reason that we give is because we understand what John 3:16 said, that for God so loved the world that he gave. So if God gave me something, the least I can do is give him something back. Boy, y'all. Yeah. I mean, I understand that we come and we give in our worship and we give in our praise, but every now and then, the spirit of conviction ought to cause you to go in your pocket and say, like David says, what can I render unto God for all these benefits? What is it that I can do outside of the norm, outside of the dollar, outside of the jumping time, confessing that I believe one thing? And what is it that I can do that God will be satisfied with?